Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Fix My Fees podcast, where merchant processing is so boring that I bring in interesting guests to come in and talk about their business and liven things up. And I'm your host, Tavius Washington, and today we have with us Jonathan Marx. How you doing today, Jonathan?
I'm doing great, Tavius. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you here. You have had 25 years in the healthcare and medical marketing. And the reason why I brought you on is because I have kind of talked with everyone, digital marketers, lawyers, all these things. But when I got to the health side, I really wanted to dive into best practices for health, best practices for, getting insurance, hearing, all these different things. But then it's like, back at heart, I'm still an entrepreneur. So we need to talk about the actual marketing of it. And So here you are, 25 years. What part of marketing do you do for your clients? Like, explain it as what it is that you do for your clients.
Yeah, so I've been doing this for 25 years, as you mentioned, and it has evolved over time. I have done in the past, I've done website marketing, I've done multimedia marketing. I worked with a number of organizations for multiple years where I would do all their online marketing, create all their online content, their website, videos, podcasts. So I've really been in multimedia, and is my background is in multimedia. I was in cable television for 14 years, and then Yellow Pages, and then high-speed internet. So I'm really a multimedia guy.
Got it. Nice. That's awesome. So you have always been in marketing or like marketing, or you just fell into it?
It's always been in my background. The first part of my career, as I mentioned, I was in, multimedia companies where I was really an executive, high-level executive running the organizations, but we were always about growth. Again, I was in cable television, which was in a growth industry, then Yellow Pages, where we were trying to maintain growth as competition came in, and then high-speed internet. I was really there for the birth of that. I was the president of one of the first 4 high-speed internet companies. So it was all about getting word out about high-speed internet. So marketing's kind of in my blood.
How has things changed over time for the medical field as it comes to marketing and getting new patients coming in?
Yeah. So again, I work with a number of different kinds of organizations. I work with individual healthcare practices or group practices, but I've also worked with nonprofit agencies and also corporations to do their marketing as well. So it really depends on who you are. But what I would say is common for everybody is the multitude of different media that people need to have a presence in if they want to get new customers. So before, if you were a doctor, you'd just hang out your shield and maybe be in the Yellow Pages. But now yes, and reputation is very important, but you really need to have, if you want to get new customers, the first thing you want to do is look at your website. Well, if you want to have a website, how do you get found? You need to have search engine optimization. And one of the big mistakes that healthcare professionals make is to talk about what they do. The different kinds of training they have, whatever medical practices they use. But the fact is nobody cares. What people really care about is they have a problem and they want to know if you can solve it. Okay. So one of the first things that I do in medical marketing when I work with an organization is we figure out what problem are you solving for people, and let's talk about that. Let's lead with that problem and how you can help them. How you do it, they don't care about. They just want to know, can you fix their problem? That's their main thing. And that's how you get patients. So that has to be all over your messaging. And that messaging is not only on your website, but it's also in your social media. If you want to do videos, you got to, or podcasts. Everybody's doing podcasts these days. You just have to have this consistent message that goes across all these media. So the biggest change that I've seen is the multitude of platforms that people can be on these days, and how you need to have some kind of either expertise in those platforms or work with somebody who has the expertise.
Right. One thing you mentioned is like you help people have a multitude. And I'm a believer in that, right? I do believe you should have multiple, because any one platform, any one service can do something at any point in time and wipe everything out. So having multitude is there. But what would you say to the person who's like, well, I keep hearing that like I should go all in on Facebook, or all in or organic, all in on SEO, and just have one line. Why do you feel there's a difference in that approach versus what you're doing?
Well, I think it depends on who your audience is. On the different social media platforms, really each platform has its own core to
Yeah.
it. So Facebook tends to be older adults, TikTok and Instagram tend to be younger. YouTube is really pretty much all across the board. If you have a podcast, it really is about what's your messaging, because podcasts are so popular these days, it attracts all of the audiences. So again, I think the first thing is to focus on who are you trying to appeal to, and let's figure out which platform and which media you want to focus on. And let me, while I'm talking about that, let me share a mantra that I developed many years ago, and this is really through proof. People don't learn things in one exposure to you. If you talk to them, if you do a podcast or a video or a presentation of any kind, they're totally with you when you're doing your podcast.
Right.
But when they go back away into their normal life, they forget all about what you've done and they don't retain very much. They may retain like 5%. So what you need to do is get your message out there multiple times. And what I also like to say is multiple media, multiple times, because some people may like to read, some people may like to watch, some people may like to be active. People have different learning styles. So you need to have media that accommodate different learning styles and also tell them multiple times, because each time they'll retain a little bit more, and each time they'll retain a little bit more. And that's the way you'll get them to come back to you, is because now you've really built up their level of knowledge closer to where yours is.
Got it. Okay. So when you're actually like assessing people and bringing them on, your approach is each individual one is different, and you have to, well, do you go into each avenue one at a time, or do you build an overall game plan with them and then start executing them all? Like, how do you work with people if they come in?
Sure. And you're talking about practitioners, right?
Yeah, a practitioner who wants,
Yeah.
like, I want to get more patients coming in through my doors.
Right. So I think the first thing we do is kind of assess, again, who's their market, who are they trying to reach? Also, what resources do they have in order to get out there? Because listen, most practitioners are busy doing their practice, which is what they should be doing. If they have a staff that can help them do this multimedia marketing, then the staff can facilitate or assist with all these things that need to be done if we're going to get into a multimedia marketing platform or, a campaign. The first place that I usually start with people is their website, because most people, these days, you got to have a website, and you got to have a website that attracts people. So, and delivers the right message. So where I like to start with people is, let's take a look at your website. What message is your website giving? Again, is it addressing problems? Does it have search? Is it effective for search engine optimization? In other words, do you have keywords on there that are bringing people to your website? And once you bring people to your website, are you getting opt-ins on your website? Do you have the right, kind of, what's the word I want? The attraction, so that they give you their name and email address so you can build, a following, or get them on your list so you can email them more. And so that's what where I really focus, is on the website, because that's so critical for having a presence if you want to build your practice. And the other whole new thing that's coming online, as we all know, is AI.
Yeah.
And AI is completely changing how people search. Google search is reducing. The number of people that are going to Google search is reducing. Now, it's still the major gorilla in the marketplace here. It's still got like 70 to 80% usage. But the fact is, AI is now coming in, and people are going to AI to ask questions. And so now your website needs to be AI friendly, so that you can be discovered, and you could be the answer if people ask questions in AI.
Ooh, I didn't think about, I've been thinking about AI in the, marketing world and how we're leveraging it, but you do kind of forget about the actual businesses who have brick and mortars, people coming in, and how much they can leverage AI. So you're helping them add AI, it's AEO, right? AEO to their website, so that when search engines and people are using like ChatGPT and Claude, they can
Yes.
pop up too.
Yes, yes. And there are certain structures and pieces of content that AI really likes, so that they will start recommending you. Just briefly, I mean, it's more complicated than this, but you want to have software, you want to have what are called schema on your website. Google is the organization that came up with schema, and what schema are is really a very concise wording of what your website's all about, so that a bot can read it and know what your website is about and then market your website. So AI is we're kind of multiplying that. What's your website about? We need to have very simple language in the back end of your website that an AI bot will read and know what you're all about. And another way, just another little trick that's developing here, it's very good at the bottom of every one of your web pages to have an FAQ, frequently asked questions with answers, on the bottom of almost every page of your website. Why? Because that's what AI bots look at. When they see those frequently asked questions, they know immediately, this is what this guy's talking about. Excuse me. This is what this website is talking about. These are answers I can provide to people who are looking for these kinds of questions.
I didn't think about that. And now
that's why I'm here.
Yeah, it doesn't put in perspective. So because you're finding that people must be, after they find the person through Claude or ChatGPT or whatever, they're asking them more questions to go along with it. And so I'm guessing the fact is what help plays in that part of answering the questions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It will bring more people to your website and AI will start recommending your website to more people. So for example, if I have a chiropractic practice, let's say in San Francisco, and people are looking for a chiropractor in San Francisco, if they're putting, who's a good chiropractor in San Francisco or who's a good chiropractor in the San Francisco Bay Area, you want AI showing up in your website and recommending your website as a possibility.
Right. Man. Ooh, see, that's a good nugget. That fact apart. Cause once you ask, you do tend to just ask it more questions before going. And I can see why people would do that. And then having the FAQ there gives the AI the answer. And that's all they're looking for.
Yes.
They're looking for the easiest answer
Yep.
to give. And if you already have it.
Yes. Now that's just the AI part. Now, if somebody comes to your website and they see frequently asked questions at the bottom of the page, that also, you may have a whole long website full of, text that nobody really wants to read. But if they see an FAQ at the bottom of the page, they can see here are the key questions, here are the key answers, and boom, I got my answer and I have the information I need to know.
What are some other things like outside of website that a lot of businesses are missing or maybe behind on when it comes to their marketing? Okay. And so besides like the website side of it, what is it that a lot of business owners are, missing when it comes to their marketing?
Yeah. So then after we've kind of fixed the website and make sure that the website is attracting people, and then also once people come there that they're opting in. So those are two key things we really want to measure a website by. Are you getting traffic? What keywords are bringing them there? And then are people opting in to get more information, and therefore you're building your list. So once we have all that straightened out, then we kind of have a strategy. Okay, who is your market? Who are you trying to appeal to? And again, based upon age and interest, we would pick certain social media platforms to advertise ourselves on or promote ourselves on or post material on so that people get to know you. And within that, as they start to get to know you, what's the next step they're going to do? Visit your website. And now your website's optimized. So once we have the website optimized, then we start going out in chosen social media. And everybody's got limited time, so I don't recommend everything for everybody, but we pick some social media platforms that really kind of focus on the audience you're trying to reach and start to build your presence there on various different social media platforms.
Yeah. Okay. So you help them with their social media platforms too. As you're deciding like which social media platforms to go into based on their audience, are you helping them with like deciding what to post, how to post, or do you handle it yourself, like making sure they're taken care of?
So sorry. So the way we handle social media really depends on what time they have and what resources they have. A lot of people will have staff members who handle their social media, so they'll do the posting for them. Posting is really pretty simple, but then the question is, and really the effectiveness is, what are you posting? And I've seen plenty of organizations that do, I'm not being critical, but they're just doing posting that's not effective. And so the question comes back to messaging. What kind of messaging do we want to put out there that's going to attract people? And again, I always come back to, what problems are you trying to solve? Okay.
I love that.
Yes. So I've seen, many websites where they'll talk about the new doctor that's come in, or the trip that the doctors just took, or, I don't know, something that has no relevance to what people are searching for. Again, what we really do is say, okay, what problems do people solve? What messages do they need to hear that will attract them to you to want to come to your website? And again, once it's optimized, are they coming? Is there an easy way to opt in or call the office? So we really develop messaging strategies for social media. But the posting of it itself is pretty simple. Most doctors' offices have staff that do the social media posting, so I usually don't get involved with that. It's more about the messaging strategy.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. The development of marketing is quickly moving in a direction where you have people who are like, if you don't use AI, you're getting left behind. And the other side is like, AI is not there yet. You can see businesses falling apart with them. The future of AI with marketing in health, the way that you see it, how do you feel like it's going to affect how people get patients and things like that with the AI?
It's going to be absolutely enormous. It's going to be absolutely enormous. I have a show called GoToHealth where I interview health experts and across a wide variety of topics. And one of the topics that I've covered in a number of our shows is all about how AI is going to be used in healthcare. And I'm not talking about marketing here. I'm actually talking about how AI is going to be used between the clinician and the patient. And so I'm not directly answering your question, but just let me cover this topic first because I think it's so important.
Yeah.
AI is not going to take the place of your doctor. God help us if it does. But what the AI can do is it can provide your doctor information that they may not have, such as the latest research on this particular disease. AI is fabulous for that. AI is not going to make judgmental decisions for the doctor, for the patient. So hopefully we will never see that. But AI is going to have more of an impact in terms of providing information to both doctors and patients, frankly. There'll be more in terms of patient care. A lot of patients will be coming and say, hey, I read this on the internet. Doc, is this true? So the doctor is going to have more conversance with AIs to know and be able to give the patient information about whether this is accurate or not. We talk about Dr. Google. Well, there's going to be Dr. AI at some point, which people are looking up. But in terms of marketing, AI is incredibly helpful. You can ask AI questions about marketing for a particular practice in a particular area, and AI will be able to tell you, here's what other practices are doing. Here's what else I see on the internet. So you'll be able to get lots of really valuable information about what other people are doing or what's out there. AI is great at researching information, assembling it, summarizing it, writing a report. So you can ask AI a lot of questions about how you should be doing marketing for a particular practice. You'll get lots of great input, and then it's up to you to decide, do I believe that or don't I? And do I want to follow that or not? Or do I want to be different, do something different because everybody else is doing X? I mean, one of the dangers of AI can tend to be, what do I want to say? It can kind of get rote and standard in its responses. And so it's not really individual. So you need to be careful for that.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. Yeah, I do see AI playing a much bigger role on that side of it too, because I mean, I even had somebody on my show where it's like, you could provide your information to an AI before seeing the clinic. And so when the doctor comes in, they already have all of the stuff that you try to rush through. Oh, my pain's in here and this, but you can actually break it all the way down. My pain is this when I move left and right and up. So it gets to ask you the questions that you would normally hesitate because you feel like you're taking up so much time of the doctor's. But now you get to explain it in full and it'll give it to the doctor. The doctor can analyze before you come. So that's one way, like in the physical part of it, you'll see AI working, but I can see AI being like all over medical field, all over the marketing and straight like that. So how are you preparing for AI's future? Not only in that, but in marketing itself. Are you diving into it a lot? Is your team doing it more so and you're kind of there, but do you use it outside of business yourself?
Well, yes, I'm using AI. So in other words, I do a lot of shows. I do like 2 or 3 shows a week. And what I do is upload the video to YouTube, and then I have AI kind of analyze what's in the video. Of course, there's a script, but I also have AI do further research for me, research this topic for me. And AI will come back with lots of other references that I can use in posting the video and the information to my website. So it'll give me references. It'll confirm lots of the information that is in the video or add additional information that I can put on my webpage. So I'm definitely using AI.
Yeah, you mentioned that show a couple times. Talk about that. Tell us about the show. Brag about it a little bit. Let us know what's going on with that.
Good. So my background is in multimedia. I was in cable television for 14 years. I was in the Yellow Pages for a number of years, and then also high-speed internet. And after that, or during all that, I guess I got out of corporate life and I started my own business, and it was all in healthcare marketing. And as I mentioned, we talked about this, I've been doing this for 25 years. And I've worked with the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control. I worked with university hospitals in Europe. They were doing research in Europe, and I was basically doing all the marketing for the research they were doing. This was on how what you eat and how your lifestyle, how affect your mental health. So it was all about the gut-brain connection. So this was relatively new research, so I was helping market that information to the public. I also worked for 10 years on a project, ADHD in adults. And ADHD, about 5% of people have ADHD, so it's a pretty big topic. But many of those people were not diagnosed until they became adults. Okay, there we go. So we were actually funded by the government to train doctors how to screen for, diagnose, and treat ADHD in adults. So I worked on that project for 10 years with ADHD experts. We trained 33,000 health professionals, which was amazing. And we also got 1 million views on YouTube all about ADHD. So that was a very successful product. That was a very successful project. I also worked for 10 years with the CDC, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control. And what I did with them was create training webinars for how best to communicate. I also worked for 10 years with the CDC, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control, and what I did with them was provide training webinars about how best to communicate medical information to the public, because there's all this medical terminology and science. The question is, how do you communicate it to the public? So I was training the CDC in that. All that ended about 3 years ago, right around COVID. And so I started a show called GoToHealth, where I've interviewed health experts in various different fields. It's all on evidence-based medicine. And my purpose is to educate the public on evidence-based medicine in a variety of topics. But the dual purpose here is also to get health information out to the public, but from particular providers so that they can get more business. So it's a combination of providing the public with health information that's reliable, evidence-based, but also promoting specific healthcare providers. So it's a lovely continuation of the work I've been doing for the past 25 years. It's GoToHealth. I'm on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, also our website at GoToHealthMedia.com. And we have over 300 shows. I've done over 300 interviews. I do about 2 or 3 a week. and we're going like gangbusters.
I love that. How many episodes are you up to now? Do you remember?
About 325.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. That's cool that you get, because you said, it's like a win-win, right? Not only is it you getting the views, but you're helping them get views. People are understanding more of that business, and also understanding of the different things that are developing, and that can drive people to them, right? As you're going. So everybody wins. The person watching wins, you win, they win. That's really, really cool. And you get to do like I do. You love talking about that stuff. You get to talk with people who are doing it. I love talking about business, so I get to chat with that all the time. That's awesome. Do you have any like plans for the future of the podcast and what you plan on doing?
Yes, big plans. So I've interviewed, as I mentioned, over 300 people, and many of them have some of them have their own show, their own podcast, or their own YouTube channel. What I'm going to be doing is launching the GoToHealth network, where where healthcare providers can come into the network. And I have developed the multimedia guy. I have developed multiple media platforms that we can all put our information out on together. So for example, I'm on Fire TV, I'm on Roku TV, I'm building an app so we can be on people's phones. I have built a press release machine where you can put in basic information about a press release. The AI machine will write the press release for you. It will score very highly, and then it can get published on major news networks. So you can get your word out to millions of people. I'm really excited about this. This will be launching very soon.
That's great. I love you can tell when someone's doing something that they love and passion, and the growth becomes natural, because it's like you're looking forward to every part of it. You know it's going to be more work. You know it's going to be more time, but you're absolutely excited about that. That is awesome. Do you have a particular, podcast or one that you feel like is like your favorite, or the one you maybe had the most fun on?
Well, my show, GoToHealth, is a podcast, and we're also on YouTube, but many of the guests that I have come on the show also have their own podcast. So what I'm looking to do is unify with them so we can all promote and grow together.
And so that the network the network will branch down to people's different business. And so you, as the big one, can help promote all of them. And now a lot of these different ones with their different expertise, evidence-based trials and things like that can start to become more popular.
Yes. And that's the key. It's evidence-based medicine, which frankly, there's kind of a divide in the United States today, unfortunately. We used to be very evidence-based, but there's been, especially with, basically social media platforms, there are a lot of quote unquote health experts out there, or influencers, that are pushing information that has no evidence behind it. And people I think are suffering because of that. And we're also, unfortunately, I think, getting misled by the top of our by the top position in our government in terms of health. The whole spread of measles is completely unnecessary and kind of unheard of in the United States. It's just really sad. And so what I'm trying to do is really promote evidence-based medicine so we can keep people healthy and living their best lives.
That's awesome. I like that. But really bringing out the longevity piece, right? We got a lot of people who are getting in and doing things, but making sure that, hey, I am marketing. I want y'all to get more patients.
Yes.
But we need to understand what's developing, because the further that we understand, the more people get help, and the more people get help, the more exposure those, businesses and companies can get, which means more healthy. And that's what we're looking for, right? A more healthy, longer living America. That's what we really, really want.
You just mentioned longevity. I'm just literally today editing a show from a longevity specialist. It's going to be a great show. She's got a whole protocol where you can kind of get analyzed in terms of what your health is and your health background. She can guide you in terms of really kind of slowing down the aging process. It's really quite an amazing interview. So I'm doing more and more on longevity. And the other thing I'm getting into, which I also love, so many of us have pets. How do we keep our pets healthy? What's the science-backed medicine behind pet health? And, it's not so dissimilar to human health. There are a lot of things we can be doing with our pets that can allow them to live healthier, longer lives.
Right. I like that. Taking care of the people and then taking care of your best friends. I love that,
Yes.
especially as me as a huge dog person. I'm waiting
Yes,
to buy
me
a
too.
home. I have T3 dogs once I buy this home coming up.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to that.
I got 3 dogs sleeping right over there.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So outside of it, right? I love the fact that you have, your podcast that is helping, people from getting your ones before with millions of views to having a network now where everyone's going to be able to start to increase their viewership.
Yes.
To your marketing and helping your businesses get new patients. What are you like outside of spending so much time trying to help everyone?
I'm a big family guy. I have daughters. I've got granddaughters, so I like spending time with them. I also play music. I play guitar and sing, so I enjoy doing that. And as a matter of fact, one of my daughters is a very, very successful composer. She's been nominated for 4 Emmys. So I'm very proud of that. My other daughter, I'll just brag for her, is a world-class acrobat. She and her husband are acrobats. They travel all over the world. I've got amazing daughters and amazing grandkids, so I'm really a family guy.
Oh man, that's awesome. I got to make sure you brag about yourself one more time. What's your favorite song to play on the guitar? What's that one you like to show off with?
I'm not. I don't have a favorite. I play all sorts. I used to play bluegrass and country. Now I play more folk. So I really enjoy a lot of different kinds of music.
See, I got to start asking these things ahead of time. I would have told you, bring the guitar, play something for us real quick. I'm not going to put you on the spot right now just because I didn't know. Awesome. Well, thank you, Jonathan, for coming on here with me today. I really do appreciate it. Because I had strayed away from the business and return on investment side, I did want to bring it back. And so it's good to have somebody who's on the understanding of what's happening in the medical field, but also on the marketing side and how things are going to come in and let the people know. Because I have a lot of people in the doctors and dentists and patients, who are bringing patients in. And so it's cool to drop those nuggets for them that they can take and put into their own AI. So thank you for coming on this podcast with me today.
Good. Thank you so much. And listen, if folks are interested in getting evidence-based health information, go to do that. Boy, this throat.
No worries.
If people are interested in getting more evidence-based health information, by all means, visit my website at GoToHealthMedia.com, or we're also on Apple and Spotify, GoToHealth, and you can subscribe. And we've got fabulous shows. As I mentioned, over 300 interviews. I'm doing 2 to 3 more each week, and they're with fascinating healthcare providers.
That's awesome. And what if they want to get in touch with you and ask you more questions about marketing? Can they do the same thing or somewhere
Sure.
else?
Yeah. If you go to GoToHealthMedia.com, or you can email me at Jonathan Marx. My name you'll see there on the video there, Jonathan Marx at GoToHealthMedia.com.
At GoToHealthMedia.com. Awesome. Thank you for that. So I'm going to put that in the bio so that you can click on it, have those there ready to go. And that way we can have that out. But thank you so much again for joining. This was fun, man. I really do appreciate you dropping this knowledge for us.
Good. Tavius, I really had a good time with you. Thanks for letting me come on. And I hope I made the show more interesting for your listeners.
Definitely did. I look forward to, having this go out to the audience. So thank you once again. And thank you all for listening. If you have some extra questions, please reach out to Jonathan. Don't be afraid. When I bring guests on, it's because they love genuinely helping people, meaning you don't have to buy something. Go, reach out, ask them some questions. That doesn't mean you won't, but it just means that you have somebody you can pick their brain with. So thank you for watching. Until next time. And if you have a business that's interesting like Jonathan, and you would like to be on my podcast, reach out to me at Tavius@FixMyFeesTeam.com. Other than that, everyone stay safe and good night.